Morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. I'm live every Friday at 10 o'clock, 10:05. You know how that goes. Today, I'm excited to go live with RJ Williams. RJ, how are you?
Doing well, my friend.
RJ,
Thank
sorry.
you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I apologize for the slight delay this morning, but
Well, good.
here we are. So, for those that may not know, for my audience, would you mind giving a little background on yourself? And
Yeah. Let me bring it down. 1997 had a massive divorce. Took everything. I had to make some money. I was 480 FICO score, making 686 an hour. So I jumped into studying. I kind of took a different course in a direction, I guess we could say, and I started studying success and discovered that successful people follow formulas. Successful people own real estate. So I figured out I'm going to get into real estate and use the formulas. So that's where I started. Been in it now 24 years and been an investor and mentor. And um, what I did discover way back is that when you build a business, life, income, dream, whatever off of your paycheck, it's very small because your paychecks are only what somebody can afford to pay you. When you build your dreams, then go get your paycheck, you get to choose which direction you go. And so, yeah, 24 years in real estate. Never been licensed. I barely got out of high school. So, figured that was a good way that people like me can make some money.
well, there you go. And you just like you said, followed a system, if you will, followed a pattern, and put your own little flair on it, and had the persistence and stuck with it.
Yeah, been an up and down run, but hey, it's all good.
So, yeah, I'm sure you learned a lot through those down times and stuff, as well as the up times.
The down times is, I think, what's the most critical in going through everything because it really puts pressure on. I don't know if that's the right word. Anyway, it puts. I've learned that universe rewards focus, and at times that things seem to be running on full speed and good and everything else, the focus gets. I don't want to say gets out of focus, but sometimes it gets blurred. So when you get the down times, you really have to focus. And so, yeah, there's a ton to be learned. The challenge that I've found is that people, when it's down, they start blaming things. And reality isn't, there may not be a whole lot to blame. I mean, I'm looking at things like COVID. How many of you can blame, your loss of job and all that kind of stuff on anything but that? When the whole world shuts down, right? You're going back. That wasn't anybody's fault in that sense. So why go into a blame game? Why not go into a focus game and go, okay, how do I build out of this?
Yeah, and one thing that's really helped me, and I'm going to also circle back to the downtimes and the lack of focus, or the focus on the downtimes is. But one thing that's really helped me is, realizing that blame, justified, unjustified, however you want to look at it, usually doesn't help your situation much, anyways.
Exactly.
So if you take it from blame and turn it into realization or acknowledgement, okay, this happened over here. This is where we're at. What am I going to do about it to get myself out of this situation? Versus if you sit in your lazy boy and you're blaming everyone and yelling at the TV, you're not going to do any improvements.
Right. Nothing changes. My mentor always taught me years back that you analyze, compartmentalize, and prioritize, and that's exactly what you just said. You analyze. This is what happened. That's where it happened. Now here's where we are. So now I got to put things in place, compartmentalize it. Now I got to prioritize it and go to work. And so many people ask the question why versus the question how. And those two words change the entire thought pattern. Why did this happen? Well, the subconscious mind is going to give you all the reasons it happened. Why am I broke? Why did that marriage fail? Why did this? And it's going to give you all of those reasons versus, okay, that happened. Now, how do I change it? Then the subconscious is going to go to work because, right, you and I understand, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners understand that the subconscious mind never sleeps. Right, it's the conscious mind that has to shut our bodies down to get our refresh and regeneration, and so forth. The subconscious mind's always going. Some of the great prophets have always said that the spirits communicate better at night when we're not involved. Right, so they communicate back and forth. Well, that's subconscious, right? And so you get all of those things going. I mean, Albert Einstein talked about the string theory and the vibrations and the intentions and everything else. That's all that higher level stuff that's going. And so when we ask the question, how, like you brought up, how do I move forward? All right, I'm here, hit the brick wall. I go back to my divorce. I had things moving in financial planning, and then all of a sudden, bam, here I am in a basement apartment, driving a 1972 Volvo that my dad bought for me, making $6.86 an hour at a temporary job service, sleeping on an air mattress from a dollar store, going, oh, what the hell? And truly, the first 30 days, this would have been January, February of 97. Man, I had a huge self-pity party. I screamed, cursed, cried, yelled, on and on and on, looked for answers at the bottom of a bottle. And just, there was nothing there until I went, wait a minute. How do I get myself out of this now? How? And that's where I started getting inspired. Inspirations came, the infinite, the God, however that is for you and anybody else out there. I always say the God of my understanding. And then I move forward. Okay, how do I do this? How do I do this? And well, I was led to this guy who then led me to this guy. And I read a book, and then I borrowed money from my parents and got a mentor, and he taught me how to do real estate. Then he taught me how to do seminars. And then he taught me how to do this. Okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? Again, I barely got out of high school. Right. And a lot of things, like my daughters will say to me, Dad, hit record and record that episode. How do you do that? And I'll throw them the remote. You guys do it. Dad, it's this little red button right here. You just push. Yeah, you do it. But stuff like that doesn't work for me. It just doesn't, my brain. But yet I can sit through and go, okay. So building out, you and I were talking on different things, and to me, I always looked at, my dad was a senior vice president for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Utah. And in the 70s, his highest income year, like 77, somewhere right in there, was like $56,000, $57,000. That was phenomenal for Utah in the 70s, right? I'm the youngest of three boys. So, I had a lot of things done for me, right, by my older brothers. And so you'll go, don't do that because Dad's going to yell at you. Do this, avoid this, all those kind of things that the youngest gets away with. But I started looking at things going, wait, if my dad made that, and so I did what I call a PFA, plucked from air number. I made 10 grand a month. What would that do? What kind of life could I live? On and on and on. And so I started dreaming. I don't really believe in, what do they call them, vision boards, but I do have my dreams. I do have it. I read them every day, and I go through it twice a day. I'm a very, very avid fan of Think and Grow Rich. And I've had that book on my shelf since the probably mid 80s when I was doing financial planning. And as I went through all of that, it was, okay, this is what I got to do. Bingo. Okay. So yeah, see, it's that mindset, right? That I'm always pushing in that. So what I did is I went, okay, if that's the lifestyle I want to live, what is the industry I need to get into that will produce that income? Not what job can I take? What industry? Well, I started going down through it. Well, okay, drugs produce a lot of money, but I'm always looking over my shoulder, and that's ugly. Okay, so what's the next one? Real estate. Man, it produces money. Okay, now I got to get into real estate. Well, I don't want to be licensed because then I'm working on commission, not profit. Oh, okay, so I'm going to invest. Well, I don't have any money and I don't have any credit. Oh, okay, so you got to figure something out. Oh, lease option or whatever. And I went down that direction. We just kept building. And so it was a matter of That's the lifestyle I want. Now let's build the business to support, because my income is going to do that. Not let's go get a job. I had one of those, right?
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you point out the subtle difference. You know, it seems so subtle when you say it, but it's so huge in the results. You know, I make 14 bucks an hour or whatever, versus I want this lifestyle and I'm gonna back build it from there.
Reverse engineering, right?
Yeah,
That's what
reverse engineering. Thank you.
yeah,
That's what I
like
was looking for.
Cubby always talked about, right? Begin with the end in mind. You're like, oh, okay. And I had read it, an article or a story or whatever you want to title it, about Thomas Watson, founder of IBM, and how he said that he pictured what he wanted the company to be at its peak, colors, on and on and on. I mean, details. And then he brought it back and he said, he goes, every day at IBM, we didn't do business, we built one. So a whole different thought pattern, right? A whole different thought pattern of, we didn't do business, we built one. We didn't live life, we built a lifestyle. And
Yeah,
that's where a lot of people get so hung up on it is, oh, because I was brought up, my parents were born 26 and 27, right? So they came through the Depression and everything else. And my dad always taught us, get a degree, get your job, stay there. Never worked for me. Never worked for me. I'm not good at school. I don't like testing. I don't like any of that. So I got out of high school and went, yes, that's enough for me. Right. So yeah, I did have the hard knocks way, but it's worked for my personality.
yeah. And it's changed too because what your dad grew up on is what worked and stuff. And now that doesn't quite work, and and the options are a lot more open and available, especially with online technology. Being able to do things virtually has made a huge difference.
I mean, look at us, right? Before we'd have to meet in a coffee shop and take notes or something like that, right? Or we'd have a live seminar we'd have to attend. Now you and I can go, okay, click a couple of things and now we're talking.
Yeah, and walk down the hall and be back in our kitchen or whatever, or wherever we are.
Exactly. I've always said that my rush hour is when the girls are getting up and get ready for school and work. That's rush hour. And then after that, I was like, okay, great. I mean, I'm enjoying my third cup of coffee because I'm out of the way. And I come down here in this studio that I built downstairs in my basement so that I could do my recordings and play my guitars and the drums and all that kind of stuff. That's the lifestyle. That doesn't mean I'm any better than anybody else. It just means that's what I chose. And if I was to show all the camera around, it's this tiny room, but it works for me. And I can sit here and have this, and then okay, great. Now I go have lunch with my wife.
You just said two words that are, I think, very, very important. I chose.
I chose.
Not what my boss told me to do, not what society thinks I should do, not what even my parents think I should do. Not to say anything bad about any of them. Just this is what I want to do.
I went through. Man, I love that. I never even. Man, you just taught me that I teach myself. So that's one of the challenges that I went through is as I was making changes, I felt that I was going against what my parents had taught me. Right. And I mean, one of the commandments is honor, right? Honor your parents, mother and father. So, okay, I get that. I get my spiritual connections of things I need to make. But I didn't always like what they taught. And it wasn't that they were lying to me. It wasn't that they were bad people. That's what they learned. That's what they were taught, right? And the things and like you said, things have changed. And so one of the things I had to come to grips with was I'm not going against my parents. I'm learning to be me. And therefore, like you said, it's not what my parents taught me. I'm going to use that as foundation. But it's like a story in one of my books I talk about, and you've heard this story before, where the mom cuts the ends of the ham off and then puts it into the oven. And the daughter goes, why do you do that? Well, because grandma did it. And then she asked Grandma, why'd you do it? And Grandma said, because the oven and the pans were too small for the ham. And so I just cut it off. Well, Mom thought it was what made Grandma's ham amazing. No, it was just that's all we had. Right.
Yeah.
It's not a lie. It's just the interpretation of, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's what we perceive and stuff. I've been taking some Bob Proctor material lately, and one of the things that he's mentioned is people are in a mindset. It's like set. This is the pattern. This is the way things are. So that's what they look for. That's what they're going for. That's their comfort zone.
Wow, that's powerful.
Versus that having that openness to be able to change that and realize that you have that mindset. If your mind is looking for X, Y, and Z, you're not going to find A, B, C ever.
Wow, Kenny, you just gave me a whole new gem right there. That's amazing. Just that thought, because I don't say reset. I don't want to reset anything. I new set. I don't restart anything. I start. I can't go backwards, right? So I new start. Now you coming in with this of mindset. Yes, Bob Proctor and his wisdom, mindset. That's huge. If we can have the openness of mind, man, that's huge.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like you mentioned a mentor, and it's so critical to find a mentor. You know, um, if you find the one that aligns with your goals, and again, going with what you want, not necessarily what your mentor wants. You want to make sure you're following your mentor, but make sure they're going to take you where you want to go.
Right. I mean, again, there's formulas, and I always look at it and go, I'm going to teach you formulas when anybody I'm mentoring and stuff. I'm going to teach you what works in real estate, but you've got to have your personality to it. Because
Exactly.
if you're not comfortable in your skin, okay, you're not going to do anything. It doesn't matter. People who are not comfortable picking up the phone and calling people are never going to make it in a telemarketing world. Well, yeah, but I need a job. Well, don't take a telemarketing job because you hate picking up the phone, right? If you've got to call leads to get real estate deals, you're not comfortable picking up the phone. You either are going to open up and learn, or you're going to hire somebody. And that's, I think, why so many people in direct marketing, multi-level marketing, network marketing, whatever title you give it, fail. It's not because the system doesn't work, and it's not because the product is just okay. It's because they're afraid to talk to people. Then get into a different channel. If that's not you, I call it flapping. My wife says, babe, you go do your thing because I don't like talking in front of people. And I think it's a blast. Jump me on stage, get on here. It's all cool. She's like, no, you do your thing. I'll take care of the books. I'll take care of the house. We got all of that. You do your thing because that's me. Right. And you and I have those things. And that's where people go, oh, yeah, but no, it's because I choose to do this.
I love that, and we can go into so many different subtopics and things like that, just having that. I was going on with the mentor, people look at the cost versus the value they're going to get from it. And sometimes it's such a roadblock, even for me, sometimes kind of thing. But then
that's a good point, because I remember even when I hired my mentor, his was $59.95, so $6,000. And you got to remember, I'm a 480 credit score and $6.86 an hour. There's no way I could go with $6,000 or $6,000. So I go to my parents and went, Dad, can you loan me money? And he goes, think it'll get you on your feet? I think so. Okay, great parents. So boom, got the money. And it wasn't the sticker shock. It was mindset of, oh, I'm only making this. So I was about a mile away from my parents, lived in Murray. I had this little apartment just down the road from them, and I couldn't drive because I would use the gas, and I needed the gas to go to my job. So walking a mile, which isn't a big deal, but I walked a mile. I am so grateful that I was blessed to have to do that, because then I had one of those coming to self talks right in that mile. And I'm sure people drove by going, dude, this guy's crazy. He's a streetwalker because he's talking to himself. Because I was animated all the way down that mile going, well, yeah, but this, or what about that? Or do you think I could do it? And now, right. But it got back to that how. So I get down there. Dad's like, yeah, let's go for it. Okay, great. Boom. Took me 7 days to get my first property. The guidance of my mentor and put it in and went, oh, okay. I made $1,500, not thousand. I made $1,500 on my first deal because I was afraid. But I made 1,500. Are you kidding me? 40-hour work weeks, 4 weeks a month made me $1,000 and almost $1,100 at $6.86 an hour. So 7 days, I make 1,500. Oh, I may have barely got out of math in high school, but that makes more sense to me. Right? It's like, okay, let's go to work. The thing that I've always looked at is I always negotiate numbers and take home money. When you start negotiating money, it's emotional. People get emotional. Nothing changes your emotion like the rise and fall of your income. And you get stuck on that because we're taught to look at income first versus dreams and goals and desires. And oh my goodness, don't do that. Oh my goodness, what happens? You're going to be the tallest blade of grass. You're going to get cut first. Oh, you don't have to be cocky, pompous, arrogant. Just have confidence. I believe that our God, our supreme being, created us in abundance. And it's man who creates scarcity. Well, if that's the case, then walk in abundance because somebody's got your back. You still wouldn't be here on this planet if somebody didn't have your back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Does it suck what you're going through right now? Yeah. But he still got you. He, she, whatever your belief is, they still got your back. The infinite has your back. So stand up tall. Put your shoulders back. Lift your head up. Go to work. You'll figure it out. Somebody will be placed in your path that you'll go, thank you, or more, thank you, right? Or a job opportunity or this opportunity or something. And you're going to go, oh, but if you're down here and you're looking down all the time and you're slumped, you can't see anything. You can't see anything.
I love how you just said that. I think that's a perfect segue. I want to talk about how more how you went from your $686 job to exploring those possibilities, how that opened up for you.
Always went back to goals. Always went back. I mean, it was that time, and I have to give it to, I read Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins. And I have to give a ton of kudos to him opening my brain. Because I was looking at that and went, okay, well, how do I go to get 10,000? Why do I want 10,000 a month? First question was, why do I want that? Oh, I don't know, because it sounds cool. That was the first thing, right? And so that was me going, oh yeah, nobody else has made it. You be that dude. Okay. What will it do for me? Oh, then I could have a new motorcycle. Then I could have a nicer car. Then I could have this. Then I could have this. And so I always just kept going and expanding my goals. Doing that and focusing on my goals said, oh, I have two choices. I can either go into debt or I can create an asset that would pay for that. Oh, I want a new motorcycle. Well, then go flip a house. So I go flip a house, I could get a new motorcycle. So the drive of having that new motorcycle made it easy to go out and talk to 50 people to get one offer. Because I wasn't going, oh, I got to talk to 50 people. No, I got a motorcycle. I got to go buy a motorcycle. So I got to talk to people. Oh man, I want to go to be, a Disney trip. I want to take my family. I want to go to Hawaii. One of the things, there was 13 of us sitting on the beach in Hawaii a couple of years ago. How did I do that? Oh, I want to take my family to Hawaii, then go do a deal. So there was that mindset of lifestyle goals and everything that kept driving through the nose, through the uglies, through the 12-hour, 15-hour days, through the constant, man, this is my 30th phone call and everybody's telling me no. And everybody's telling me no. Okay, do you really want to go to Hawaii? Okay, 31. You really want to go to Hawaii? 32. And you just keep going. God, park a car, go knock doors. You selling your house, you selling your house, you selling your house, you selling your house. Oh, this really sucks. You want a new motorcycle? 34, 35. So that's why I said it always drove back. I never looked. I don't care about my credit score. Okay. My wife cares about my credit score. She cares about hers. So I don't care because I just look at it and go, I'm going to pay cash. So I don't focus on those things. So like you're saying, a mindset, right? Walt Disney said, never say think outside the box because then you acknowledge there's a box. Just think.
I like
Think.
that.
And that was always been this battle cry for years and years and years going, okay, just think, there's always a way. That was my mentor's motto. There's always a way. And it's that we get caught up in doing this without doing this. The old adage is, if you watch your feet, you'll stumble. If you watch the horizon, your feet will walk. Because that's how we're created.
Yeah, we're meant to look up. And I love the example that Disney was, because he was, if I recalling this correctly, he was like rejected or kicked out of or something to that along of like art school.
Yep.
Because he lacked creativity.
Yeah.
And now look at Disney.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
He chose, he believed in what? Okay, great. You may not. You're a teacher, your mentor, on and on and on. I had counselors that said, dude, get into a trade, because you don't have it all up here to get into chemistry or that kind of stuff. That's just not you. You need to be in a trade, welding or something. And I'm not dogging anything. That's just what the counselor told me. And my personality is, I'll keep it good for our listeners. Screw you. I'm going to go do what I need to do. Right. I mean, people just look at me in different ways, and on and on and on. I have a lot of earrings. I have a lot of tattoos. I have a weirdly weird beard, and on and on and on. So what? It's not yours. It's mine. You don't pay my bills. I pay my bills. So that's my personality. Is the whole life's not a personality contest. I do everything I can not to offend people. It's not a personality contest. I know where I want to take my family. I know where I want to go, and it's all driven by my goals. And if that's the case, then man, your goals aren't big enough. You got to jump in and dream. Zig Ziglar always said, dream as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll be able to see more.
Yeah. And I love how you pointed out that they're your goals. Even my wife and I have different goals. We have some goals together, and we have different goals and stuff. I want to go do this. She says, have fun with that.
My wife hates motorcycles. She won't even get on my motorcycle. She's like, go, babe, be safe, be protected, do what you need to do. Go enjoy.
And grab some takeout while you come back.
Exactly. Yeah.
But run with them, they're your goals, There are goals that I want my family to be there, and there are goals that they don't want to go, and that's fine, Doesn't mean that I need to compromise our goals, or I need to tell my wife that her goals aren't good or anything like that. Or my mentor even is not going to decide what my goals are.
Exactly. There's got to be that support system in there, but that's okay. I think a lot of us are, and it's not intentional, but I think a lot of us are raised to the point of being conservative. Let's make sure. Well, that's great, but at the same time, man, open up. I look at things like you and I have, and everybody can relate to this. You see blades of grass or weeds. Mostly here in the West, we see weeds, not a whole lot of blades of grass, right? You see them,
or dead.
Yeah, or dead. Right? You see them grow out of concrete in between the cracks. You see them come out of the walls and rocks and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because its creator said grow. No other stipulation. The creator said grow. So it does. It does what it was meant to do. Well, why are we holding ourselves back when our creator said, the thing that happened is every one of us, when we came out of mama, every one of us, the first thing they told us was what? Breathe. That's it. Whether they tickled your foot, cleaned out your mouth, whatever, but it was just breathe, baby. Come into the world, breathe. That's the first thing. Not you're going to be a dentist, you're going to be a scientist. Breathe. Right? But so many of us get caught up in lack of, not knowing, society, whatever it is, we forget that it's okay. I get ready to go on stage. I get a text from my wife. The only thing on that text says, breathe, babe. And then I'm going, okay, I'm anchored. Let's go to work. Now I know what to do. Right? Her goals are hers, mine are mine, all that kind of stuff. But together, just like your household, you're pushing for a mutual direction. And it's those personalities. I mean, Will Smith said that, we're two people, him and what's his wife's name, Jade or whatever. They're two people on a similar adventure. They just chose to do it together. Well, that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. I'm not here to change her. She's not to change me. I'm not to change anybody else, a mentor to me or anything. We're on this mutual adventure. Let's go.
Yeah, I love that, and I love how free and open your mind becomes when you're able to let yourself think and imagine. Because like you mentioned before, it's really hard to think about $10,000 a month or even $1,000,000 a year or whatever when you're looking at your paycheck that has $1,000.
Yep.
And you're like, and then the story of the ham, well, this is what my dad did, this is what my grandpa did, and so this is what I gotta do, and son, you gotta do this too, because again, that's what they were raised with, that's all they knew and stuff, not to say anything bad about anyone, it's just, right. But it's so freeing when you're like, no, that's great, that worked for them, but there's so much out here you can go do. Go try it. Go fall. Go scrape your knees.
That's it right there. That's what I tell my girls. It's like, okay, so that dance, because they're heavy into dance and stuff. So we do all the competitions, right? And they come off and it's like, man, that was amazing. Oh, Dad, I messed up here and I messed up here. Really? Nobody else saw it. So have the confidence in what you're doing is working. I remember my youngest, she was like 8 or so, and it was her first solo. Now she was probably younger. She was probably 5. Her first solo, she is scared to death to go out on stage, right? It's going to be out there, and she's the one, and she's just crying, wiping away her tears. My wife's got her on her lap backstage. It's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. They called her name. She wiped off her tears and went out and performed. Came back, and she was crying again. I went, okay, well, you don't know what's going to happen until you know what's going to happen, and you don't know what's going to happen until you do it. Well, okay, that didn't work. I don't know if you've had a chance to read Driven, Larry Miller's book. In one of those, and for those who don't know, listening to us, Larry Miller was the owner of the Utah Jazz, multiple car dealerships and stuff, and one of the billionaires of Utah. He wrote in his book, I always wanted to be a part of the oops, I shouldn't have done that group versus I wish I would have done that group.
Oh, yeah.
That is power. It's like, oh, yeah, I messed that up. But you did something. You did something, man. Has it been, have I lost things in life? Yeah. Have I lost properties? Yeah. Have I lost a lot of money on properties? Yeah. Okay. I mean, one deal I lost like 34 grand. My wife went, okay, so you're going to cry about it or you're going to go figure out how to make more money? Yeah, you're right, babe. You're right. I'm going to cry a little bit, and then I'm going to go make more money.
Yeah, have a pity party for 5 minutes, and then get back out there.
Bingo, right? Let it be what it is. And the thing that she got, and I mean, man, the universe blessed me with an angel. And the one thing that I love about her is she says, babe, just be grateful we had it to lose. Right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Stop looking at, oh, we lost. Go, thank you that we had enough. Now go make more. You have the formulas. Go to work.
Yeah. And I want to bring up something you mentioned earlier about the mentors as well and figuring out what you want to do. It made me think, that in a way, you've already got the answers for you. If your goal is real estate, go find someone that's done what you want to do in real estate and kind of copy them. The answers, the steps are already laid out because people have done it before.
Correct.
But like you said, put your own flair on it, do your thing, but find someone that's done what you want to do and then get to know them, read their books, see if you can call them, get on a Zoom like this or.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like you and I. We didn't know each other. We're both in Utah, right? You live in Salt Lake.
Yeah. Magna, technically.
Yeah, okay. I'm out in Harriman. I mean, we're on the west side of the valley yet. Granted, it's cities, but we've never crossed paths. It wasn't until, social media brought us together. And then now where you and I are talking and having you're teaching me. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is such an awesome way to do it. Because why? You said, hey, would you be interested? Yeah. So many people go, no, I wouldn't be. And I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to ask.
Yeah. I don't even know what I was going to say here when I asked you.
Right. It's like, okay, let's go. I mean, you're preparing all the foundation and stuff. I don't know how far you are into your book, but you're preparing all of that to get it all done so you can get a book released. That's amazing. That's amazing. So many people have stories in their head, their own story that they never get out. They never get out.
And it's that little bit of fear, like you said, looking down at the sidewalk. What's the worst thing that you could have said when I asked you?
No.
Okay, have a nice day.
Yep, exactly. Right. I got a friend or a past associate, I can't say friend, a past associate who's dyslexic, and he always told me no means on. And that's how he runs his life. He goes, I see no and it says on because I'm dyslexic, so I see it that way. That's the way he runs his life. That's healthy. That's healthy. Okay, go. I had to look at things in negotiating. No doesn't mean no. It just means we didn't talk effectively. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no downside of it. This guy named Kenny calls me out of the blue. Okay. What's the worst that can happen? I can get on and really make a fool of myself on live social media. Okay. People are, oh yeah, don't talk to that guy. Or I can go on and have a great conversation. Okay, go on and have a conversation.
Exactly. We're just having a conversation. I don't have a script. I mean, we and I talked about a base topic, but that was it. Don't have a script. We don't have a. Do you have a? And I've turned no into an acronym. It's next opportunity. Someone says no, just okay. I'll talk to the next person, or maybe later.
I love that. I love that.
I've been learning so much just in this conversation. This is part of the reason why I do
it. We can only learn from each other, right? Our capacity is growing all the time. Well, we don't have certain answers. But oh my goodness, Kenny just gave me something. Now Kenny's giving me two. Next opportunity. On and on and on. I'm like, oh man. I was on another Zoom a couple of days ago, and I was like, I don't believe in coincidence. And the guy said, I learned from a multimillionaire to manage your coincidence. I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to look at it as well. Okay. All right. Let's go. Right? That's just what we're doing. There's so much crap in the world right now, especially right now. Everybody's doing, and I think it's this tiny, tiny percentage that's being exposed as the mass. Because guys like you and me and everybody else listening, we are just doing what we feel is right for our family. And we're just cranking forward. Okay. We don't have this nastiness in our hearts and everything else. Okay. Well, then let's get together and let's be the majority. Let's make some things happen. Right. And I can only do that by associating with guys like you, with ladies that I was on a phone earlier this morning with a gal in Minneapolis, looking at properties. And she's just trying to do the best for her family. Okay. That's how it all comes together.
Yeah, I love that. And again, to illustrate that point, what's best for my family is not the same as what's best for your family or what you guys want for your family. And same with that lady in Minneapolis. And same with somebody in Arizona.
Exactly. Exactly. And yet, we're still good people.
Yeah. And we can have a great conversation and be friends and help one another. And who knows what other opportunities and possibilities are going to come out of this. And
if it ends here, what a phenomenal morning. If it continues on, what a phenomenal next opportunity.
Yeah.
That's just so cool.
Yeah. As long as your eyes are open and looking for it and you're
not stuck in mindset. Man, you have taught me a ton. This is awesome.
No, it's amazing what happens when you open your mind a little bit. Agreed. I just learned that from listening to Bob Proctor's material, and holy crap, now this happens. Now I understand this.
And now, would you have done that a year ago, 2 years ago? Were you in a position to do that?
I wouldn't have been ready to do that.
Bingo, right? So it aligns the coincidence, right? Everything is placed in our path as it's needed. Okay, all that kind of stuff. And now you're like, oh, now I can expand. Were you 2 years ago ready to write your book?
Nope.
Yeah, bingo.
The
Right.
thought crossed my mind, but that was as far as it went.
Yeah, how does a guy like me write a book?
Yeah, who am I to?
Exactly. 2000, end of 2007, beginning of 2008, I had an opportunity to co-author a book with Jack Canfield, the Chicken Soup for the Soul guy, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just a kid from high school that just went to Murray High School, that barely got out of Murray High School, and now I got this opportunity to write with Jack Canfield. Well, then it went from Jack Canfield with Jim Rohn, and those two great sages, and I'm like, holy smokes. And once I got that one done, then Brian Tracy reaches out and he starts talking to me on sales that I need to get involved with him and co-author with him. Well, the only reason it happened is because I happen to know the guy who is the dyslexic guy. I happen to know him, and he was on the seminar stage that talked with these guys. And so by knowing that guy, introduced me to these guys, introduced me to writing a book concept. I'm like, holy cow. Yeah, I would have never been ready. I'm just a guy who got out of high school.
Yeah. You never know what's going to be on, and even if it were dumped in your lap 10 years ago, you would have like.
It would have been. I've got manuscript that I wrote my own book, and I was thinking about it the other night. I wrote it in 2010. We're 2021, almost 2022. It wasn't. Why has it been so long? Why is that manuscript just sat there? What? Because I wasn't ready. I thought I was this book writer after those couple of opportunities. And so it's like, pound my chest. I'm the big dude. I'm going to write a book. It's set. It's still on a computer upstairs, right? It wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. I was looking at it going, do you think it's ready now? I don't know. I don't know. You know, maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just me writing stuff down. That's all I needed. It was just me.
Yeah, like you mentioned before, the system works and the product works, but maybe the student isn't ready to do the work.
Isn't that true? Isn't that true?
So, RG, this has been a phenomenal conversation. I appreciate you taking the time. Where can people get a hold of you if they wanted to?
You know what? I'm wide open. It's just if you want to get me on my cell phone, you have to text me. Okay. But you can find me anywhere. My cell phone is 385-222-5223. Please post it out there. That's fine, but you have to text. Okay. Because even if you call in, you'll get my voicemail. Hi, I don't take voicemail. So if you need me, text me.
All right, repeat that one more time. I'm going to post it right now.
Thank you. 385-222-5223. My email is successwithrg@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, of course, at RG Williams.
Perfect. Yeah, that's how we connected, through a mutual friend on Facebook.
Exactly, just mutual that way. So, yeah, happy to talk to anybody. Man, you know, you and I'm hoping and believe, just got a good feeling, this is not going to end for you and I. So our connection is going to continue. I just, and not just social media wise.
I agree. I feel the same.
Good. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for letting me ramble. I just appreciate being a part of what you got moving.
Yeah, thank you again for being here, and everyone, thank you for tuning in. And remember to follow your passion, live your purpose, and explore those possibilities.